In this lesson, we are going to be introducing a concept that is related to computing but is also super important for web development, and that's the idea of file paths. The absolute and relative paths, what they are and how they work. You think of a file path as a unique location for a file or folder on your computer. If you want to navigate a particular file, then you could just go into your project folder, go into your images folder, and you find your cat image, and then you can open it up. But similarly, we could use this concept of paths to go to exactly the same location and navigate to the same files. A file path can direct someone to a file or a folder. As you can see here, we have got a very simple structure of the storage on a computer. The root is usually the starting point of your computer filing system, and this is usually called your hard drive. These are absolute file paths and relative file paths. So, what's the difference? Well, an absolute file path is probably the simplest to understand. It's a file path that is relative to the root of the computer. Remember, that's the C drive or it's in the Macintosh HD, and then we can use the file path to direct to a specific location. In this case, this cat PNG using the absolute file path. In both these cases, we are traversing a journey effectively and we are taking people from the very beginning, which is the root of the hard drive, and we are navigating them firstly into the project folder and then into the images folder. And then finally, we reach our final destination, which is the cat PNG. Now, however, for web development, a more useful type of the file path is a relative file path, and the name suggests it's relative to something, right? So usually relative file paths are a little bit shorter. In web development, when we are referring to a particular resource, say we want to bring up an image or sound or a movie or another HTML file for that matter, we usually will use a relative file path. Now, one of the things that's really helpful for us in writing relative file paths is there are these special characters that can make it easier for us to navigate the file structure. One such character is the two double dots, and when we write two double dots at the beginning of our relative file path, what it means is to go up a level. Basically, that's all it means. It just means go up a level and then go into whichever resource or whichever path you want to navigate. In this case, we are starting off in our index.html and this file is located inside the project folder. So this is where our starting point is. If we go up a level using those two double dots, then what that enables us to do is to go into the root folder. Now, relative to this root folder, in order to navigate to the essay.docs, all we have to write is essay.docs, and this enables us to travel up through the folder tree. Another special character is this single dot, and what this single dot does is it tells us to stay within the current directory and look over there. So where is the current directory? Well, relative to our starting point there, the current directory is of course our project folder right here. Relative to this project folder, we can navigate using the dot slash to start right here, and then we can go into the dog.png simply by using this more direct file path. Now, one thing you might see out there in the wild is in order to access something within the current directory means the folder that your file is currently located in. So, in this case, again, it's the project folder. But whenever you want to access anything in the current directory, so anything along the same hierarchy here, so you can actually just simply write doc.png and it will look within the current project folder in order to find that. But sometimes using this direct method doesn't actually work. So I recommend whenever you are trying to access something within the current directory to go ahead and use this dot slash notation. This way it's going to work 100% of the time. So now it's time to try and exercise and see if you have understood some of the important concepts that we covered in terms of file paths. And here, if you expand the project folder, you will see many folders. There is folder 0, folder 1, folder 2, and folder 3. Now, if you go inside the index.html, you can see there is a very simple setup here where we have got a website that's going to display an image of all the animals. So that includes the rabbit, the cat, the dog, the fish, and the bird. Alright, so let's start off with a rabbit. And I don't know if you have noticed, but I have got them in order of pretty much difficulty. The first one, the rabbit, should be the easiest to pull up because it's right inside the same directory, right? In fact, we can just use dot slash and we will get to our rabbit.png because remember what I said about the special character single dot forward slash. Now let's move on to the next one. Let's do the cat. Where is the cat relative to our current location? We are currently inside index.html. We can navigate up to our current parent folder using dot forward slash. And then once we are there, we can navigate into this folder 3 by simply adding folder 3 after the slash. Then after that we can go into the cat.png. Finally, let's add an alt text and then close off our self-closing image tag. So now we have got rabbit, cat, all we have left is dog, fish and bird. So let's go ahead and add the image source for the dog. First we use the dot forward slash. You can see it now shows our dog.png as an option, and if you hit enter you can see our dog shows up. Let's add our alt text and then let's go to the next one, which is our fish. And our fish is located inside folder 1. As you can see right here, we can follow a similar path to how we got to doc by using the dot forward slash. From here we can go into the folder 1 and inside folder 1 is fish.png. And finally, let's do our bird. Bird is just one level further from fish. So it's inside folder 1, and inside folder 1 there is a folder 2, and inside folder 2 there is our bird png, and there you have it. Let's add our alt text. It's all the code we need in order to show up all of our animals, and hopefully if you managed to get all the images to show up, then you know exactly what you are doing and you have learned the important parts of the lesson. So for all of that and more, I will see you there.